Hi guys and gals, Dean here. Just over 48 hours to go and thought I'd communicate in video form a few things you still need to do before kickoff and, as promised, also some tips and tricks on how to play to win. So I'm going to assume that you have read the how to play page from top to bottom to get an idea of what you need to do to compete. Fairly straightforward, as I'm sure you'll agree. So I've got 5 big tips to share with you in this video beyond that information. Number 1, a big thing to remember. You'll be gutted if you forget your tiebreaker. So many people forget to do this, and I can see that there are currently over 100 players who still haven't put their tiebreaker in yet. So get that done. It's just a case of predicting the minute of the first goal and also the minute of the first penalty awarded. The closer you are to the actual minute that those things happen, the better. If you and someone else are on the same points and they remember to do the tiebreaker and you didn't, they're going to be above you in the league table. So set your tiebreaker in the predictions menu under tiebreaker. Do that before you forget. Someone is going to forget their tiebreaker. It always happens, and there can be no going back and fixing it after that first game kicks off. Don't let it be you. So, number 2 tip, and the second big reminder, put some predictions in. Now that may sound like a bit of a no-brainer, but in past tournaments, which usually kick off on a Sunday, there are people who decide on the Friday beforehand, you know, I think I'm going to put my prediction in on the day for that first game. And then what happens? They get carried away with their weekend and then suddenly realise on Sunday afternoon that the game is on and they're too late and they've missed that first game. Very disappointing to miss out on any games, in my opinion, especially if you're playing to win. I will say though, it's not a total disaster, because if you do miss a game, it's only 1 game out of 64. So with 3 points per game, there is a maximum of 192 points for the entire tournament. So missing a game here and there isn't a big deal, although if you want to win this thing, you've got to play to win, and so every point counts. So I'll just add a part 2 of tip number 2. I talk about putting the first few predictions in. Obviously we can add all of our first round predictions in before the tournament kicks off, which some people do, many people don't. Some people like to take their time and put the predictions in as the games come up, which is a perfectly reasonable approach. But don't forget that you can change your mind as many times as you like on each individual game. So why not avoid the risk of missing any games at all, which is playing to win, by putting them all in before the tournament starts. It's dead easy to hit that big random button to just randomly generate some scores if you haven't got the time to put serious thought into them just yet. So in the event that you forget one, and you've done them already, you've at least got something in there that might score you some points if you forget to update it near the time. Otherwise, you're guaranteed 0 score for those games you forget. So, top tip number 2, put all your first round predictions in now and revisit each one as it comes up. Tip number 3, the allow cookies tick box on the login page. You're going to find that useful when the games start. As I said in my last email that went out, the tick box has one purpose only, and that is to keep you logged in for longer. If you tick it, you'll stay logged in for another 90 minutes. If you don't tick it, your browser by design will only allow a maximum of 10 minutes and then log you out. Rest assured, that's all you're committing to with that cookies tick box, nothing else. Tip number 4, which you could argue is a golden top tip if you're playing to win, and comes from the winner of the Everyone League in the last tournament, which is how to make a good score prediction. Now I need to say a few things before I talk about this one. Firstly, I can't claim to be an expert in predicting football game results, because if I was, I'd be down the bookies and I'd be rich beyond my wildest dreams. I admit I'm not an expert, and neither is anybody else, to be fair. Secondly, I do need to make a very serious disclaimer here, because I don't want to influence anyone's predictions. If you feel strongly that your prediction is the right one, you go for it. But I do think it's worth remembering that the 32 teams that have qualified for this tournament, all of them got here by winning games. There aren't any 2-bit teams of solicitors and part-time estate agents in this competition. I think there's a popular misconception that the lowly ranked teams in a tournament are so far removed from the ability to score goals against players from the big leagues of the professional game that when we see the likes of, for example, Brazil versus Cameroon, which is a meeting on the 2nd of December between the number 1 world ranked team and the 38th world ranked team, that the entire game will be conducted around the Cameroon goal area, and the number of goals that Brazil will score will probably run into double figures. So my golden advice here is, be realistic with your predictions. We all remember how stunned we were when Germany beat Brazil 7-1 in 2014, And another notable high score was when England beat Panama 6-1 in 2018. Just remember that those high-scoring games are very rare. Predictions of 3-3 or 4-4 that we sometimes see people putting in, just don't go too off the wall with your score predictions is all I'm saying. And disclaimer, it's something to consider and entirely up to you what you ultimately go with. So number 5, the final tip to share with you in this video. We've got a growing number of participants in that Everyone League so far, but the more we can get in there, the sweeter that feeling of victory is going to be for the eventual winners. So if there's anyone you know who is a proud football supporter and has very strong opinions that their team is the best, get them to sign up. You know they'll thank you for it. I think the record number of players for one tournament we've had in the past was 220. So let's see if we can beat that this time. So there we are, my 5 top tips. Number 1, do your tiebreaker. Number 2, put at least the first few predictions in, or put them all in if you've got the time. Number 3, tick the cookies tick box if you want to stay logged in for longer. Number 4, don't go crazy with your score predictions. Number 5, spread the word among your chums. So that's all for today. Maybe for this tournament we won't be able to sit in a nice sunny beer garden in a t-shirt and shorts and scream at a huge outdoor screen this time round. It's cold and many will stay indoors. But a whole month of world-class football awaits us on the telly. What more could a genuine football fan want? So be kind to each other and have an awesome month, guys. All the best.